Hey everybody, welcome to the next video. Today I thought we'd do something a little bit different. I thought we could have a look at the Prince Andrew horrific car crash interview that he did in 2019, where he is getting grilled on whether or not he had sex with human trafficked girls by Jeffrey Epstein. This is really interesting because before this interview, I had no idea that he had even done any of this stuff. So, I don't know who else thought that, but maybe it was more doing this interview was, obviously more damaging than helpful for him. But it's really funny because he's a really bad liar, and the person who edited this interview, it's really funny. So, I've done a whole lot of research as well. On body language and stuff, which is really obvious now, so I can't wait to talk about that. Also, everyone who's subscribed, viewed, or liked any video, I really... Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a second, sorry. Yeah, anyone who's subscribed or anything, watched or whatever, it's appreciated. If you want me to do any video, just let me know. Write a comment or do whatever people do. But yeah, let's have a look at this. I didn't want to do the full video because it's quite long and there's a lot of filler in it. I just thought we'd do the best bits, the worst bits, because they're the funniest. So we'll just have a look at this. Here we go.
Tonight, for the first time, Prince Andrew speaks out.
I don't know why I've collected that title because I never have really partied.
Okay, so he was single for so long, so he was sort of the party prince, and now he's trying to say that he wasn't, and there's a whole lot of evidence that he was.
And I've never really felt the need to go and party.
Am I right?
All the stuttering and the eye blinking, it's just such a blatant fucking lie, I think anyone can just look at that and tell. You don't have to be a body language expert to tell that, really.
I think you threw a birthday party for Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, at Sandringham.
No, it was a shooting weekend.
A shooting weekend.
Just a straightforward shooting weekend.
I like how he quickly... No, it was a shooting weekend. Just a straightforward shooting weekend. How he speeds up? That's a little too obvious as well, in my opinion. Also, I just want to talk about... I think he's doing this because he no longer has royal duties, right? I think this is sort of like one last shot at trying to salvage himself. He's got just the way. One big point is his tie is off center, which I think if he had people there helping him, they would have corrected that. I think it's just him on his own. Also, the interview isn't at his house. It isn't at her house. It's in Buckingham Palace, So it's sort of like you will listen to me. It's my house. Look how much authority I have here. Subconsciously or not, I think that's why he would have had it there, a safe place. Sort of, yeah. Hoping that she would comply more, maybe? I don't know.
Why? Why were you staying?
Yeah, look at that. Look at that backdrop, Why would you have it there, Why else would you have it there?
With a convicted sex offender.
Right, because this was serious, and I felt that doing it over the telephone was the chicken's way of doing it. I had to go and see him and talk to him. Oh, in 2010, there certainly wasn't a party to celebrate his release in December, because it was a small dinner party. There were only 8 or 10 of us, I think, at the dinner.
I don't know if that's... Oh, no, it's not. Yeah, another blatant lie.
You were staying at the house of
Yes.
a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient...
And look at his foot. Whenever he bullshits, which is often, that foot always bounces up and down. And he always, throughout this interview, he always covers it. It's almost like a barrier, like a bar. You know how a bar is not subconsciously, but a bar in like a club is, I serve the drinks and you pay the money and I give you the drink. This is the barrier between, the transaction. I think that's what he's trying to sort of do, create some sort of barrier. I might be going crazy, but that's what I think anyway.
place to stay. And I admit fully that my judgment was probably coloured by my tendency to be too honourable.
My judgment is coloured by my tendency to be too honourable. Sure.
Okay. And your strengths?
But that definitely wasn't you getting a foot massage from a Russian girl in Jeffrey Epstein's house.
No.
No thanks. I don't want to be part of your sex festival.
It might seem a funny way to break off a friendship, a 4-day house party of sorts with a dinner. It's an odd way to break up a
Yeah, there's so many little telltale signs.
friendship.
Look at his tongue always goes berserk when he bullshits as well.
That's a very stark way of putting it. Yes, you're absolutely right.
She says she met you in 2001. She dined with you. She danced with you. You bought her drinks. You were in Tramp nightclub in London. And she went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Didn't happen. There are a number of things that are wrong with that story. One of which is that I don't know where the bar is in Tramps.
Come on, the bar in a nightclub. You can find it easy enough. It's not a maze.
I don't drink. I don't think I've ever bought a drink in Tramps.
You don't think you have.
Whenever I was there.
You know that you were at home with the children. Was it a memorable night?
On that particular day that we now understand that is the date, which is the 10th of March, I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Why would you remember that so specifically? Why would you remember a Pizza Express birthday and being at home?
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking...
This is really funny too. I've forgotten visits to my billionaire's friend's private island, but I never forget my single visit to the unusual restaurant on a specific day 20 years ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Is an unusual thing for me to do.
I've eaten it. Although the pizza is very hot, I didn't sweat. I can't due to my time in the Falklands. I definitely wasn't in Tramp, which I've never heard of, sweating all over a young girl because I said I can't sweat. Yeah. I broke out in a tremendous sweat. Everyone in the store was bucketing sweat except for one unseemingly affected. Oh, fuck.
A very unusual thing for me to do. I've only been to Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly distinctly. But as soon as somebody reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that. Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat.
That's bollocks. No, go on.
Or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was actually yes.
Yeah, come on, let's watch that bit again. Actually, yes.
Or I didn't sweat at the time, and that was Oh, was she? Yes. I didn't.
Like, is that not the most biggest lie ever? You know? Oh, it's almost like he's. Oh wait, did I? No, no, yes. You know? Oh, did I sweat then? I'll just try and like, you know, play it so I can't quite remember, but oh no, I can't. I didn't sweat then. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to just sort of backtrack a little bit, you know, to make it more believable. But he's a terrible actor. He shouldn't have even done this interview. You just, yeah, the second most damaging thing to the royal family. Sorry, the first most damaging thing. Second being Diana's car crash.
Sweat at the time.
No, 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 just kidding.
Because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at, and I simply it was almost impossible for me to sweat.
Is this a real thing? I don't know. I don't want to say it's not because I don't know. If anyone knows, could they write it in the comments or say something? I don't know if it's a real thing or not. I don't think it is. An overdose of adrenaline so you don't sweat, you know. And that's not even a feasible excuse anyway. You're playing on a point that's because the point was you profusely sweating. You know, that's one little tiny little detail in this whole story, and he's rambling on about it for ages, kind of like me right now.
She provided a photo of the
Yes.
two of you together.
Yes.
Your arm was around her waist.
Yes.
You've seen the photo.
I've seen the photograph.
How do you explain that?
I can't.
You have to do better than that. You have to do better than that, Anaru. I can't. I simply can't. I am a good prince. I would never do anything like that. It was a straightforward shooting weekend.
You think it is you next to her in the photo?
Oh, it's definitely me. I mean, that's a picture of me. It's not a picture of. I don't believe it's a picture of me in London because when I
Look, watch his eyes. No one blinks this much when they tell the truth anyway. Watch them again. It's unreal.
picture of me. It's not a picture of. I don't believe
Bang,
it's a
bang.
picture of me in London because when I go out in London, I wear a suit and a tie. That's what I would describe as those are my travelling clothes if I'm going going overseas. So I've got plenty of photographs of me dressed in those sorts of sort of kit, but not there.
There was a witness.
So those are your travelling clothes. A shirt.
You've seen the photo.
I've seen the photograph.
Those are my travelling clothes. Oh, a shirt? A shirt. Come on, bro. Fucking hell. If you're gonna organise this interview, at least make it somewhat believable.
Times.
I'm glad this exists.
Once in a London house when she was trafficked.
Staying with the Consul General, which is
Oh,
further
too
down the
far,
street.
goddammit.
I don't think on one of the weird things I was staying with the because of what I was doing. I was staying with the Consul General, which is further down the street on Fifth. So I wasn't staying there. I may have visited, but
You did stay there.
no, definitely no activity.
And just a little like, no activity. You know, she didn't even say anything about activity. You know, you brought that up yourself. No activity, with a little laugh in there, just to make it just more casual.
She said she had sex with you 3 times. Once in a London house when she was trafficked to you in Maxwell's house.
Yes.
Once in New York a month or so later at Epstein's mansion. And once on his private island in a group of 7 or 8 other girls.
No.
For the record, is there any way...
I love that bit. Whoops.
No.
For the record, is there any way you could have had sex with that young woman or any young woman trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein in any of his residences?
No. And without putting too fine a point on it, If you're a man, it is...
Now he goes on about this, and I don't really agree or understand this bit. I'd love to hear someone's opinion, but I don't know what he's talking about here.
a positive act to have sex with somebody. You have to take some sort of positive action. And so therefore, if you try to forget, it's very difficult to try and forget positive action.
Epstein's housekeeper.
Like, what are you talking about?
Also in a Florida court legal deposition, said that you visited the Palm Beach residence around 4 times a year. You got a daily massage.
4 times a year?
That was what he said in a Florida court legal deposition.
No.
I'm just wondering, when you look back now, is there a chance that those massages might have been the services of someone who was being sexually exploited or trafficked by Epstein?
And this is a good question. It's kind of a fair enough question. She's kind of like, could it be that those massages, and look at this cunt, could it be those massages were from a trafficked person? You know, that's not too harsh, or, you know, because I feel like you got to play a little good cop, bad cop with this guy, you know. If you're going too hard, you know, because he obviously did it. So if you're going too hard, he's just going to deny and you'll get nowhere. So you kind of have to play around and just sort of, ask these sort of finer, you know, smarter questions, which she does a really good job with. And she also, her, you know, I find her really very professional, like Jaswinder says, but I find her very professional, you know. She doesn't let him bully her, you know. She almost just gives it to him, you know. And he's just squirming this whole, like, 50-minute interview. He's just squirming. He's fucking squirming in there. It's why it's so entertaining.
From the palace. Yep. At no time did I see, witness or suspect.
Apparently she's one of the top, and I don't know who she works for. I haven't actually looked into it that much, but apparently she's a really good interviewer from England. So, yeah, that's probably why I think that she's so good at her job.
Any suspicious behaviour.
Yep.
Virginia Roberts' legal team says you could not spend time around Epstein and not know what was going on.
If you are somebody like me, then people behave
Excuse me.
in a subtly different way.
You could not spend time around him and not know.
Yeah, she just gives it to him just then. He's trying to say, like, I'm a prince. I am very special, and people are on their best behaviour when I'm around. But no, that's not the case, because you were in on it. You were in on it with him.
But you'd notice if there were hundreds of underage girls in Buckingham Palace,
God.
wouldn't you?
But you would notice if there were hundreds of underage girls in Jeffrey's house. Wasn't there?
You seem utterly convinced you're telling the truth. Would you be willing to testify or give a statement under oath if you were asked?
Well,
And this in my opinion, this means nothing. Like, would you be willing to give a statement under oath? Just, what's stopping you from lying? Nothing. You could lie under oath and say you were telling the truth. No one's going to know. Just keep, committing to your lie. So that's pointless, in my opinion. I know it's legal and all that, but if there's one group of people that aren't going to lie, it's criminals.
Like everybody else, and I would have to take all the legal advice.
You should have taken some legal advice before you did this fucking Trainwreck interview, because it is damaging.
There was, before I was to do that sort of thing, but if push came to shove and the legal advice was to do so.
Come on, bro. Come on.
Do that sort of thing, but if push came to shove and the legal advice was to do so,
yeah,
then I would be duty bound to do so.
because you've said there are many unanswered questions,
Yep.
everyone affected wants closure. You would help to provide that closure.
I think there's just as much closure for me as there is for everybody else. In the same way that I have questions to answer, in the sense of what was I doing? What was I doing?
When was your last contact with her?
It was earlier this year, funny enough, in the summer, in the summer.
About what?
In the springy summer. In the springy summer? You know, which one is it, bro? Come on.
She was here doing some rally.
So even though he had by then been arrested and was facing charges of
No,
sex trafficking?
no.
Oh yeah, now she just goes in for the kill on this one, and it's really impressive. And look at, just watch him, you know, he realizes that he's made a mistake, you know, in his timeline, in his chronological order of things, and he just completely makes a hash of it. So let's watch it. She's really good. I'm very impressed.
Here doing some rally.
So even though...
She like thinks about it. Should I do it? I'm going to think about it, and then I'm going to go in for it, you know? Let's watch it. Okay, I'll stop talking. Let's do it.
He had by then been arrested and was facing charges of sex trafficking.
No. This was early spring, I think. This was long, because...
I think...
When was he arrested?
July.
No, it was before July.
And that was the last time?
Yeah, because...
Did you discuss Epstein at all then?
No. Not, actually, funnily enough, no, not at all. There wasn't anything to discuss about him.
Oh, dear.
Because he wasn't in the news. It wasn't, you know, it was just... We'd moved on.
How do you...
Well, you know, yeah. If you can't tell he's lying there, you know, that's the biggest kill shot. No. When was he arrested? July. You know, she has facts. July. You know, she knows her stuff. No, it was before July. I know a lot of people who do that. You know, you'll say something, and they'll go, "When was that?" And you'll say, like, not this exact situation, but you'll say something, and then they'll go, "No, before then." You know, they don't even know, but they'll just say before then. You know, just because they're so committed to saying what they're going to say before you say it, before you say what you're going to say, if that makes any sense. No.
You move on from this?
Well, it's an interesting way of putting it. I'm carrying on with what I do. I have a number of things that I have been doing since 2011. We've got 500,000, or just over 500,000 young people who are using the service, and I'm trying to think what else we've got, but it's...
Look at this room, you know. That is really nice. I don't know what they even use this room for. I also would like to make a point. New Zealand, the New Zealand government pays $18 million a year to stay in the Commonwealth. 18 million a year. I know there will be something that we get out of it, but what do we get out of it for $18 million a year? You know, and that comes out of my money. The taxpayer pays for that. So what do we get out of it again? We get a prince who does horrifying interviews? Nah, I'm sure we get something out of it, but I'd like to know what. You know? And, yeah, I don't want to start talking about the royal family too much, but it's a little bit, isn't it a little bit old school, you know, like the royal like, you know, I'm just a commoner, you know, what do I know, but, you know, the royal family, oh, they're so royal, and they live in a royal house, and, you know, what do they do? What do they do for me? I don't know what they do for me. I just pay $18 million a year to stay in the Commonwealth, to fucking watch the Commonwealth Games that everyone else can watch anyway, you know. I don't know, I'm just ranting. I've had a long day.
Well,
strings to Brent's bow, a philanthropist.
Yeah, we have to bring this to a
No,
close because we're running out of time. You've talked about a thick skin. I wonder if you have any sense now of guilt, regret, or shame about any of your behaviour and your friendship with Epstein?
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite. In the sense that
Unbecoming. All right, I just got to do something real quick. Let's look this up. Unbecoming. I don't even know what that means. Not flattering. Not flattering. Oh, he was not very flattering, I suppose.
he was a sex offender. He was a sex offender.
Is there anything you feel has been left unsaid that you would like to say now?
No, I don't think so.
Your Royal Highness, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Your Royal Highness, give me a break. Alright, that'll do it for this interview. That was pretty fun. That was something a little different. If you like that sort of thing, if you give me ideas on what to do, I can do any sort of interview or commentary on anything. Just let me know, because this is not for me, it's for entertaining other people. So if you want something to be looked at in a very unbecoming way, just write it in the comments and I will get to it. I have a full-time job and a 1-year-old and a partner, but after I've finished all those jobs, I can get onto this job, and I enjoy doing it, so give me something else to do. Okay, see you on the next one. Goodbye.